Hello class. As you know recently, we've been studying force, motion, and energy, specifically potential and kinetic energies in class recently. Well, today we're going to use some of that information, which is going to allow us to be able to calculate the average speed using distance and time measurements for objects in motion. I have a few questions for you guys to start the class off with. How many of you like things that go fast? Good. I figured most people did. Well, what are some of those things that have speed that you guys are interested in? Cars? Very good. Airplanes? Nice. Rockets? Well, that's a good one. Now, today we're going to learn how to calculate the average speeds of some of those items that you guys have just discussed. But first I need to tell you that in order to calculate the average speed of an item, of an object in motion, you need to know two variables. Those two variables are the amount of distance that it has traveled and the time that it took for that object to travel that distance. There's a formula that we're going to learn today, and that is R equals D over T. Does anybody have any guesses what any of those letters stand for? That's okay. Well, the R, guys, stands for rate of speed. Okay? Now that is what that's our goal of what we're going to calculate. So we're going to leave that as R when we're actually filling out our problems here. Now the D is the distance, and the T is the time, which we discussed here just a few minutes ago. And what we're going to actually be doing is we're going to be taking the distance that that object had traveled, and we're going to divide that by the time that it took the item to get there. Okay? Now the distances could be held in kilometers, centimeters, inches, miles, yards, and the time could be anything from seconds to minutes to hours. You know, we have a wide range of options there. Okay? To start us off here, I'm just going to give you guys a few quick examples to see if we can't figure out where to place each item in our formula and how to calculate our average rate of speed for our objects. Okay, our first example, I want you guys to write the formula down with me first, is R equals D over T. So the first example I'm going to give you is that an object traveled 5 miles in 5 minutes. Okay, so with our formula, we know what R is. We don't know what R is, but we know that's what we're trying to find out. But we do know what D is, and we do know what T is. Okay, now remember, D is our distance, and our distance is 5 miles. Okay, so we're going to put that in the D area there. And then we also know what our T is. Okay, it took 5 minutes for our object to get there, so we're going to write 5 under T. Now we're going to go ahead and label both of those with the 5 miles and 5 minutes. We have to make sure that we label everything. So with that formula, what we're going to do is we're going to divide the 5 by the 5, which is going to equal 1. Okay? But 1 what? We have to make sure we label everything properly here. We have 1 mile per minute. Okay? Because we have, and then our second example I'm going to show you here is our object is traveling 20 kilometers in 5 minutes. Okay? Again, we're going to write down our formula. R equals D over T. Okay, we don't know what R is, but that's what we're trying to figure out. So we're going to leave that as R. And our distance, well, what is our distance? Well, 20 kilometers is correct. Good job. So we're going to write 20 kilometers in our distance. Okay, does anybody remember what our time is here? 5 minutes. Very good. So we're going to write 5 minutes where the T goes in our formula. Okay, so now we divide 20 by 5. Can somebody give me the answer for that? 4. Very good. Now how are we going to label this answer? Well, we have kilometers and we have minutes. So we have 4 kilometers per minute that our object is traveling. Does anybody have any questions? Everybody feel like they have a grasp of our concept here or know where to place our items in our formula? Well, good. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a little quick lesson just to kind of make sure that we're all still on the same page and everybody has full understanding of our concept here. What I'm going to do is I'm passing out a worksheet for you. And with this worksheet, what we're going to do is I'm going to work this first problem with you guys. Okay, we're going to do that as a class, and then you're going to do the next 4 problems by yourself. Okay, well then we'll go over them, and then I have a special project for you. All right, well this first question, does somebody want to read that to me? Okay, well a bullet travels 300 yards in 1.5 seconds. What is the average speed of that bullet? Well, let's see, let's get our formula down there. Let's make sure we show all our work and do all our labeling again, okay? So our formula is R equals D over T. Let's go ahead and write that down. We're going to fill in the D and the T areas. We know our distance, so that is 300 yards, so we're going to write that in there. And our speed, or excuse me, our time is 1.5 seconds, so we're going to put that in the time area. Now we have to now what do? That's right, we do divide 300 by 1.5, and that's going to come out to 200. Now how do we label this? We're going to do 200 yards per second. Very good. Now you guys go ahead and work the rest of the problems there, the other 4 by yourself. Then we will go over them as a class. Once we are done with that, we're going to move on to the little special project I have for you guys. Okay, now that everybody has done their worksheets, everybody seems to have a grasp. What I want you to do is I want you to pick one partner out of the class here, and we're going to actually go to the track. So does everybody have their partners? Well, good. So we're going to go to the track. I'm going to give each group of you a stopwatch. And you guys I want you guys one at a time, meaning one of you in your group at a time, to take a jog, a run, a walk, however you want to go around the track. One time. I want you to go one time. The speed you go is up to you. Now your partner is going to actually time you with the stopwatch here, okay? And what I want you to do is record your times, and so when we get back to the class, we can figure out how fast you went around the track. Okay, so everybody has done that. We're back in the classroom. Now, what we're going to do is we know everybody's times, okay? Whether they walked, ran, or jogged. We know your times. We just need to figure out our distance now, okay? So, well, one lap around that track was a 1/4 mile, okay? So what I actually want you to do is I want you to multiply your distance, your time by 4, okay? And the reason we're going to do that is we're going to also multiply your distance by 4. Is that right? That way we can get a mile per hour, okay? And then with those figurations, and you know the formula of R equals D over T, we can figure out how fast you went around the track, okay? Your average speed. Hope everybody had a fun class, and we will see you tomorrow.